Does it ever feel like it's borderline impossible to market your music nowadays without feeling spammy about it? I think that's because of two things largely. One, it's the type of strategies musicians are taught. They're taught to go around and say things like "Song of the Summer." And on the other side of the coin, it's a lot of how we look at the content. We feel spammy even though we might not actually be spammy. And as someone who's been in the music business since I was 15 years old, I posted a lot of content. I posted thousands of videos, and I found out the hard way through trial and error what actually gets audiences to resonate with an artist and their brand. And I actually help other musicians do the same thing. But as you watch this video, you're going to learn exactly how to avoid being spammy and how to look at your content so that you can actually grow your audience without feeling like you're spamming them. So let's lock in, and hopefully by the end of this, you're gonna have total confidence and know exactly what to do. So step number one, we actually need to define what it means to be spammy, okay? Let's look at it like this. Spam is one, unwanted. They do not want this interaction that is being put in front of them, right? That's one characteristic of spam. Another characteristic is that it's invasive, right? If I have an email inbox and all of a sudden you're filling up my email inbox with a bunch of unwanted information, that's very spammy, right? And then finally, usually the reason spam is so irritating is because it's almost 100% transactional. It's trying to get you to buy something every single time, and there's no chill about it, so to speak, right? So you have unwarranted, invasive, transactional type of content and in communications, you could say. That is what spam is. Now let's take a step back for a second. Whenever you create a piece of content, if you can make that content, one, non-invasive, it doesn't feel, because put it this way, when they're scrolling, they're being interrupted every single time they go to a new video with a new thing, right? They're used to that behavior. But invasive is like, oh, you used that window of time that I gave you to annoy me, use loud sounds and use like I hate it when the first word of a video is a curse word. Because what if you got children around? You have no time to react to avoid people. Like, that's invasive. So we got to, one, make sure that our content when they scroll onto us is not invasive. It's not just like, oh gosh, abrasive is another way that we could view that. Two, how can we make it wanted? Okay, people don't usually actively go out and search for new music or new musicians, right? They stumble upon it. So we have to create our content with the right visual hooks, using our music as sort of the soundtrack to the video. We're using our music as a way to make them desire to inquire further. The curiosity that we build in the headlines that we put our music under can build that curiosity for them to want to know the answer to the question that you asked, let's say, in the headline, or to the situation that you set up with the hook or headline that you put in your video. That's the text, by the way. So, first of all, we're starting to see clearly, hopefully, that if we engineer the content right, it is non-invasive and is wanted. And if you're just providing value, you're not asking them to buy something, put their credit card down on the line, it's non-transactional. So even if you're asking someone to go stream your music, that's not just a purely transactional thing in the spam sense, because spam is coming in and basically saying, give me your money for this random thing, right? We're saying, hey, go listen to this music. Way different. Totally different positioning, totally different economics. It's not the same thing at all. So one thing, for those of you who may feel like when you create content, you are being spammy, I would just say that it's all about how you create that content. Yes, if you create that content to be loud and annoying and invasive, as one may say, yeah, it's not going to go over very well, and you're going to feel pretty spammy, and you're going to be pretty spammy. Let's just be honest, right? But the thing that I strive for when you go to your content, okay, people start going to make content and they think, okay, the goal is attention. And that's where people start creating very spammy content. They start saying, this is the song of the summer. There is nothing about that that is really trying to build a connection with an audience. It's trying to get attention on a thing, right? So when you're creating content that says Song of the Summer or whatever, there's no room for connection there. I saw one headline that was kind of long, but it connected, and that's what mattered. It said, I wrote this song for people who have passed over beyond the physical realm or something like that. Pretty long headline. And it was just them singing the lyrics in their truck. Video was killing it. Thousands of comments, hundreds of thousands of likes. Like, absolutely smashed it. Why does a video like that, people say, oh, it's all these videos that I don't put very much effort into that do so well, and these videos that I try to overproduce, they don't usually do so well. Well, a large part of that, I think there's a rising skepticism or a rising kind of, people want to put their guard up when they see highly produced stuff sometimes. If it's highly produced and connecting, that can work. But if the thing that is supposed to bring people in is the production, that's when people start to go, and they move on. Because production is kind of cheap nowadays. I know it's not cheap to do it, because those of y'all that have spent money on music videos know it is not cheap. But it has become a commodity because of things like generative AI. So to consumers, high quality, high fidelity content, and by the way, this is for certain markets would value it more because that's their niche, but you get the idea here. So when we look at content that is made purely for attention, like, oh, I'm so flashy, look at me, it doesn't tend to do well. However, you could have a very non-flashy video or a flashy video, but if the headline that you create is engineered at connection, it's engineered at how do I actually take someone who's never heard my music before, give them a little frame, a little story, a little situation that they can step into that makes it easy for them to resonate. There's minimal to no resistance to listening and consuming my music, right? Like, all that stuff becomes natural when you build the frame around connection. So that one example that I used, it's very easy to step into that frame. All of us have lost someone who's moved on to the other side. So by having a headline like that, it's universal. See, there's a difference between being general and being universal. People mix those things up all the time. General is something like Song of the Summer. Universal is like, man, I wish I told them more things before they passed away. That's real. That's something pretty much everybody has experienced, someone who has passed on. And man, I wish I could have asked them these questions. I wish I'd have done this differently. That's a real human experience. It's easier to connect with a real human experience than Song of the Summer. That's terrible. That's generic. That's where general and generic, they're sharing root words there. Universal is tapping into our experiences and tapping into something that's powerful. Right? So when you're creating your headlines for your content, don't try to think, I quote this all the time. For those who are my regular viewers, you know what I'm about to say here. Tyler, the Creator, he had a beautiful quote that says, don't try to be too cool or else you're going to freeze to death. And I think that's a beautiful analogy because so many musicians are trying to posture instead of put out a life raft to bring in some people who will connect, right? So don't get caught up in the visual aesthetic race and think that, oh, if I just get better at that, that's going to be the difference maker. Not necessarily. It's about the music and how you set up the connection with the music. Now, sometimes you guys are instrumental artists, and so you have to be a little creative of how you frame the music because there's no intrinsic story, because there's no lyrics. Like, I've dealt with that in the past. However, if you got lyrics, like probably 80% of y'all, then you got to figure out, what is the story my song is talking about? That story could just be about having fun. It doesn't have to be always a deep thing. It's easier to use the deep things for examples because the examples are clear. But it doesn't have to be so, heavy all the time. The meaning of your song could literally just be about like having fun and escapism. Okay, now you got to start tapping into hooks and headlines that make it easy for people to want to get into that state of mind. Does that make sense? You want to make the headline easy enough for someone to read and then just be able to step into your story. And they're in the right state of mind. so that they are going to be most receptive to what your music is, okay? That's the point of the content. And so when people think my content is, I'm spamming them with content, here's another thing to know. Even if you posted 2 times every day, your followers are not always going to get every single post that you get, or that you put out there, excuse me. The algorithm is created in such a way where 80 to 90% of your audience is going to be people who have never heard your music before, who have never seen your profile before. So think of it like you're always sending it out to fresh people. Now, your followers will see some of your content consistently, and if you think, well, are they going to get bored if I'm talking about the same song over and over again and the same stories? If they do, you should have a way to capture that attention. Okay, and that kind of moves me into the step 3 of this. You have to capture that super fan-like attention. When someone is commenting on every one of your posts, when someone's liking every post, this is a signal that they're pretty consistent and loyal fans, right? If they get to a point where we've given them no vehicle to move forward in, and they're just like, hey, are you going to promote another song? I know you got other songs, and like all this kind of different stuff. If we don't have a way to capture that attention, they might eventually actually get annoyed. Not because your music annoyed them, but it's like they're looking for the next step, and we've not given them the next step, right? So what are those things? We need to be able to capture their attention in the form of email addresses. We need to be able to capture their attention in the form of SMS. So, your mobile phone numbers. And we need to be able to capture their attention, if you're an independent artist, for listening too. We need to be able to say, hey, if you like this song, go listen to it again and again and again, right? We want them to listen to our songs over and over in full. And then we get them into the email list or the text SMS list. Once that happens, if you're a subscriber of mine, you know this, and it's the most valuable asset that you can have as a musician is a collection of contact information of your diehard fans. There's nothing more valuable than that, because what happens if TikTok gets banned, because something comes up again and they get banned? Oh, now all that work you put into for all the followers, they're gone. Same thing with Instagram. What if some kind of weird thing happens and Instagram and Facebook merge into like a central social media and everyone starts from zero? We don't know what the future is going to look like. However, if I have a database in my computer of all the emails of all my fans, it doesn't matter what happens. If I could put that information on a hard drive and have a physical, copy of my email address here. It's like a black box on an airplane. So if there's ever like a crash or something, I've got this. It's the most powerful thing ever. So you need to systematically capture that information and start reaching out to them systematically. Now that's kind of where I help a lot of artists and musicians. But before I, talk about that, the main thing that you guys really need to know, content is only spammy if you are doing what is by definition spam. And if you are not doing by what is definition spam, that means our fears are internal. They're inside, right? So what are those fears based on? It's that fear of pestering people. Well, you're not going to be pestering people. It's this fear of like brand dilution. Oh, it's going to make my brand look bad because I'm not posting high-level content all the time. I guarantee artists' fans appreciate the high-fidelity stuff, but they probably view it like a treat. And the one-on-one connection, the DIY connection, that's the meal, right? They showed up for the music, they're in for the music, and now they've got a connection with you as an artist, and they want to stay for that, okay? But this whole idea of, I don't know, I just think it's more important to focus on that connection. And that other stuff will come, okay? So when it comes down to it, there's a 3-step process that you should know if you're a regular subscriber. Shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are so awesome, by the way. We're almost at 10,000, so hype this video so we can get up to 10,000 subscribers. But the 3-step process is the CEO framework. Content, emails, offers, okay? Create the content that attracts people with the stories, just like I was talking about. Then we can drive them into the emails where we systematically reach out to them, tell stories, deepen that connection, and then present them with ways that they can support us, the offers, okay? So if that's something that you're interested in implementing into your music business, I've got some open spots in my coaching program. So if you click the link in the description, you can apply to be a part of that if that sounds like a good fit to you. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell, the hyped button, all that good YouTube-y stuff, right? And I look forward to seeing you on another video inside of Musicians Ignite.